purchase property without knowing whether they can build on it,
I would
I
invite
guess.
you to go to the school board and ask that same question.
Okay.
She does.
But they're aware that this may take a while
They're very
to
much aware of
get
that.
this annexation until after the bypass road is figured out.
Paul Swift's been briefed on the project, yes.
Thanks.
Do it. Okay, let's just see if this works. Have you put it in yet? Okay. Yeah, it works. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Sneak around this way, everyone. Thank you for letting me be on the agenda tonight. There's some, to me, very important things to talk about, and I really like your participation with it. Let's see if this will work from this far away. There we go. Has anyone seen this?
I can't
Has
hear you.
anyone seen this online on KSL?
Yep.
Anyone been tracking it all? I've tracked it for the last 3 months since I've seen it.
I'll do some training on it after your presentation.
Is that right? Okay, and as you can see, here's Heber City, and we have Chris Smoot here from the Wasatch County Board of Health who's going to talk a little bit about that on the next slide. But this air quality monitoring has not been going on for very long in our county. And I've been concerned about air quality way before I was ever elected. And we always wish it could look like this, right? Everybody green. But I have seen days in just the last 2 months where we're red, we're unhealthy here, and then they are green. Usually we expect them to be the yellow, orange, red, right? This is just from this afternoon, right? We're happy to see that. But how many of you have had constituents talk to you about air quality in the county? Just a few, all right? How many of you are concerned about air quality in the county? Okay, how many of you think that our air quality now is worse than it was 5 years ago? Okay, given those lovely numbers that we just looked at with UDOT, how many of you are concerned about air quality in the future? All right. So to me, an ounce of prevention in this presentation is going to be worth pounds and pounds and pounds of cure for the emissions that we know are coming in the future. Okay, so I am going to turn this over now to Chris Smoot. He's going to explain this and talk about what the county is doing right now with clean air.
Hi. So my name's Chris. I'm from the Wasatch County Health Department. I'm an environmental health scientist with the department. And so our Board of Health was interested in looking at air quality a couple years ago. So we went ahead and purchased some air monitoring equipment back in 2016 and started just preliminary data collection. And so we have, the actual model is a BAM 1020, right, from whatever, from Met1 Industries, right? That's the machine we used. And what that machine does, it takes an hourly reading of particulate matter. So the particulate 2.5, which is the potentially hazardous particulate matter, the little tiny stuff that gets in your lungs and in your bloodstream, and what we're really concerned about, right? So we've had it there since fall of 2016 collecting data. That data has primarily been for internal use, just trying to see patterns, data analysis, just kind of get a groundwork, or see where our levels are right now. Because really, like Heidi said, we haven't had monitoring up here. We've had models, the EPA has done models of our county, but we've had no concrete data collection or air quality monitoring. So, oh yeah.
Is there a reason why there's nothing on the south side of the valley as far as any monitors up there? I don't see anything on the
So we do have one in Charleston. Yeah, it's Soldier Hollow Charter School. But what I was going to say, so that's our primary, or our initial monitor, that BAM 1020. And so it takes, like I said, it takes an hourly reading of that particulate matter. We have realized people do want to know what the air quality is. It's become more and more of an interest to the population. And we came across these monitors called Interlocal Air is the brand, that are inexpensive. They're not necessarily used for regulatory purposes or anything. It's more just awareness, and so people know. They're fairly accurate. They match our other monitor pretty closely. The good thing about them is they're real time, so they give a number every minute to 80 seconds. They update that number. And so, and also they're linked to the internet. So they're hosted on the Interlocal Air website, but also KSL has them on their network as well. And so we last year installed 5 throughout the valley. One's down right now. The one in Midway Elementary, it's not online. I think we need to replace that unit because we had a little issue with it. But right now we have one at the health department, and we have one right with our other air monitor just so they can check each other so we can see the accuracy. But we also have one at Wasatch Mountain State Park, one up at Utah Valley University, and then down at Soldier Hollow Charter School. So that's the ones we've installed. We just wanted to get kind of a broad sense of what the air is, and those are the partners that agreed to let us put one there. There are also, if you looked at that map, there are also some private air monitors. People, just general public, have purchased their own. So there's currently 3 in the area. So there's 2, one up in Timber Lakes, one north of that, and then one down. It says it's Heber East, so I think it's right by that stake center, down just off Highway 40. So the Interlocal Air monitors are pretty neat. Anyone can buy them. They're about $250. You plug them in, all they need is power and Wi-Fi, and it'll start sending the data up so you can know what the air quality is.
Chris, would you mind very much going back to this map and just talk generally about the trends you're seeing in our valley for the red air, the yellow or anything? Can you please also explain about how your data isn't certified?
Okay, sure. So we are in what's called an attainment area. So we are currently attaining, we have good air according to the government standards, right? Now we do dip into yellow and orange, and rarely, but sometimes there'll be a hit in the red. But usually those are temporary blips. But we do want to be proactive. That's why we're looking at this data. We want to prevent anything from happening as much as we can to try to maintain our clean air. So, like I said, the Interlocal Air monitors, they take a reading about every 80 seconds, and it displays it up there. If you click on it, you can see a pattern. It shows, I think, 2 weeks worth of data. So, it's kind of hard. I don't really have too much on patterns. I mean, because it's so variable. Each of these Interlocal Air monitors are fairly sensitive, so it's pretty variable. You can have, what I've noticed in Timber Lakes, all of a sudden they'll have a spike and they're in the 80s, right? And it's a red reading, but that may be because the neighbor started their fire or the truck to warm it up before leaving. So it's pretty sensitive, but then it'll come right back down as soon as that source goes away.
I'll show you a year's pattern when you're done.
Right, and that comes from our station. The data that you have, Kendall, comes from our station that's not one of these Interlocal Air. It's that other that takes the hourly reading. But what we have seen is what you alluded to. We do have inversions up here. And essentially what an inversion does is it caps the valley. And so all the pollution that's being expelled from cars, homes, whatever the source may be, it's trapped. And so that's why it builds up and looks ugly for those times until we get a storm or wind to clear that out, clear that inversion out. So inversions are natural, they happen, it's part of the topography of where we are, the geography, right? We're in a valley, and just given weather patterns here, it can cap us, and as we get more people and more sources, it can look ugly at times. But fortunately, our data shows our air is pretty clean. It's pretty clean, we're going to keep it that way. So anyway.
As I understand, Chris, feel free to ask him other questions, but feel free to sit down too.
Oh, I'm sitting all day.
Did the forest fires in the summer affect those too?
I'll show you.
Oh, I bet.
So
I bet,
they did,
yeah.
And we actually did provide some guidance well, the school district reached out to us as far as football games and things like that when we had some really bad days. And so we have some guidelines that the state has approved for schools specifically on what to do when air hits certain places. So it wasn't a mandatory thing, but we recommended certain actions and to try to keep them safe. But yes, the forest fires did impact us for a couple weeks at different times, earlier in the summer and then early fall.
Thank you. Feel free to sit down here. We're going to continue, and like I say, he's
I
Oh, I'm
did get a
sorry.
question.
Is there any way that we can get a monitor over by the airport?
Yeah, I mean, so the purple air monitors, anyone can buy them.
Okay.
I don't know.
How
if
much are
it's- They're $250.
Yeah, just keep.
So the
keep
two
listening.
requirements
It's coming.
is electricity and Wi-Fi.
You'd asked about participants, and I know the town itself is not asked as far as being able to have a monitor. And I would certainly be very interested in having one on one end of the town and one on the other end of the town, and that would probably really answer a lot of folks' questions over the last 15 or 20 years what that airport's doing.
Okay.
Is there any reason whoever put these monitors up didn't think about that side of the valley or any, think like everything that side of the valley? Just curious who put that together and why.
There's one over there, it's Mayor Antonio.
So we do have one in Charles. Is that where, I'm
No.
sorry. Daniel.
That's where the airport's at.
Sorry.
There's one out on South Highway 40.
It's not quite south as far as Daniel though.
Right,
No,
it's
well-
an independent one, but I would like, if this is a study and this is what the county's doing and everyone's looking at it, wouldn't it be appropriate for the whole valley to be looked at and not just maybe where the wind might not put some of the other pollutants?
Right.
Then we can
So
see the red days for Sundance Festival.
our intent wasn't necessarily to blanket the
Environmentalists
community
around
and
different
the
airports.
monitors. That'd be great if we could and would, but this was just to kind of give us a glimpse of around the valley. So we picked some strategic sites such as schools and things where the kids are. But I agree, I mean, if we had all the resources in the world, it'd be nice to put some along the traffic corridors and then put some 2 blocks away and then put some further away, and then you can see.
At least one where probably the biggest pollutant is in the whole valley, at least probably one near.
So we did invite the Department of Environmental Quality, the State Department of Environmental Quality in 2016, so before, or 15, I think, before we put our station in, they came and put a station in for about 2 months, and it was at the airport. No, it was different to matter. And
They
I mean,
didn't
it
like the
showed,
results?
we do have some, yeah.
No, I say they didn't like the results? They
No,
wanted
it was fine. It was mostly green air quality, and it was in January and February. But yeah, I'd have to go back and talk to my
Just be
boss
interesting
about
to find out how
new
or why.
ones, but at this point where they're 250, I think we kind of leave it up to places if they're interested in purchasing them.
I'm not trying to cut him off.
No, you're fine.
Obviously, you can see that this is a touch issue for everyone, right?
Yeah, in the interest of time, there's people that have to go to some early
Then I will-
Salt Lake. So let's finish the presentation, and then people that want to stay and talk after.
Yes, please be sure to ask, he's our resource in the county, and he's the one analyzing the data, but as he explained to me earlier, the data that the county's gathering is not certified according to EPA standards, so we can't use it as totally reliable data. Does that make sense? Even though they are trying to look at it and analyze it, and there are reports through the county health department, all right? So let's get to where we're talking about today. We have a choice right now. Okay, we can be proactive about clean air, or we can just sit back and wait till we reach that 50,000 population in our county, and then the state government comes in and starts to do the mandatory testing, and at that point, do you really think we'll be in attainment area, as we are right now? Because once we hit 50,000, that's when the state mandated testing comes in, and the certified data will be available, and that's when also state mandates and requirements and federal requirements and standards will kick in our valley. So do we want to be proactive? Do we want to just be reactive and wait? And this is the slide that Tony Kohler had prepared before. All right, so what I'd like to propose and have us start thinking about very seriously this year is a new interlocal board on air quality. I feel like these are some of the purposes of what this new interlocal board could do. First of all, build collaboration between the Wasatch County Health Department, which is monitoring and analyzing what's going on right now, and then each of the government entities within our county. Kendall is on the Board of Health. Kendall knows about this so much more than I do. But I haven't taken the time to study all of that. I'm concerned about it. I feel like all of us need to be concerned about it. And if your entity was, interested in this, in building that collaboration and understanding as to what has happened, what's going on, then we can start to do some pretty amazing things and hopefully preserve and promote our air quality. So that's the next thing the board could do, is to study these issues and then make recommendations to the county, to each of the cities and towns about the various options to promote and maintain our air quality, even with growth. Now, that means help each entity use what the governor's pushing and what the state legislature has done and is doing this year and in the future with their air quality initiatives, different trends, the funding that's available to study this, analyze it, be able to get grants, the air quality monitoring that you're hearing about now, UCare resources. There's just so many things out there that we're not applying yet in our cities or county because we're not organized to do it. And we expect the Board of Health to do it or the County Health Department to do it, and yet we need to know what they're doing. We need to work with them, I believe. The last thing that this board could do is to help with the Board of Health and the County Health Department, help develop and perhaps distribute the kinds of public education or outreach materials that really are the beginning, the foundation for helping the public know what's going on with air quality and what they can do about it individually, without having to be forced by the state or the federal government. So public education is so important here. I'm just going to propose that each entity could select an elected or other person that has this commitment and is interested in air quality. The County Health Department is willing to participate in that board, help support the board. But again, if you think that collaboration is important, which I do, if you think those recommendations are important for your area, even in Daniel, even in Charleston, Charleston has red air more than anybody else in this whole county, and yet they're small. But it's the geography, it's the air, the fog. I mean, it's so many things that just hit them. And they're not Heber City, right? They don't have the population size. So whether you're small or whether you're larger, whether you're the county, I think all of this is really affecting us, and I'd really like to work with the county in proposing this and then bringing it to all of you if you are interested. Okay, let's finish up here. These are possible topics that the board could consider. All of these are incredible things that are being pushed at the state level. Other cities have done it. All of the other side of the Wasatch Front is considering these kinds of things. So these are topics that the board could study and perhaps make recommendations. It's not force at this point. It's that ounce of prevention that can really help cure pounds and pounds and pounds of emissions, right, in the future. I'm just going to skip that. You have all of these slides. I've sent it out to you before the meeting, and I'm sure it will be posted in the agenda materials too. Okay, and then here's what Mayor Turner was asking about. I believe that the board, as well as all of you, should encourage more clean air monitoring in the county. Those air quality monitors can be purchased here, all right, less than $300 a monitor, but as Chris was saying, they need Wi-Fi connection. And if it's hard to find that wherever you would like to put them, here's just an idea, a potential idea. Maybe we can work with our good UDOT friends who do have Wi-Fi or hardwire connections on their traffic cameras, which are usually at major intersections and such. Maybe we can work with them to be able to mount these air quality monitors too. The school district has Wi-Fi. That's why I think the county health department has gone with a lot of schools, because the Wi-Fi capacity is there. It's a very inexpensive way to give real-time quality information to citizens so they can make better choices, right, about their driving or about their health. And I feel like that's just a basic thing that we should do in our county. Cities definitely could add these links, right, from KSL or Purple Air onto their, websites. And I'm hopeful that we'll do that in Heber City so that people can just see it automatically, right? I'm watching it through KSL, and it does change throughout the day. And this is just me, all right? I'm not gathering the data like Chris. I don't have all the records, but I'm just seeing trends that Charleston turns red a lot more than you think. okay? And that we're getting the yellow air at rush hour traffic on Highway 40. But that's just really anecdotal, right? It's just as I checked it, but you can see the impact, right? Even just with what we have right now. So to me, public awareness, that's the beginning. That's really the main focus of having an interlocal board on air quality. I would hope you'd join me in this and that you would consider it seriously, and let's get together and get an agreement set up and get a board set up. It's not that it has to meet every month. I know we're busy, but certainly maybe every quarter or even twice a year to start saying, okay, what is it that we can do together instead of just thinking, let the county do it with the Board of Health or let Heber City do it when Charleston is in the red, right? And we have ozone problems too in the summer. I mean, that's being monitored. It's not that we thought we've escaped that from the Wasatch Front. We need to take care of our issues here. Okay, so it's our choice, and I am done, but does anybody have any other concerns or questions? How many would be interested in setting up a board like this?
And would we just email you, are you willing to kind of head it up? Like, would we email you who from our city is willing to be on the board, or what would you like us to do?
I think we should perhaps ask the county, if you don't mind, to hopefully set up an interlocal agreement. And John Woodard has been wonderful, Scott Sweat has been wonderful to help us. I don't think it would need to be a very detailed agreement.
I think it needs to work through the Board of Health. They've already been proactive to oversee. And probably not a member of the board, because I talked to Chris this afternoon, they probably did. Just
One of the support staff.
yeah, staff and planning ought to be part of that too, to come and talk about what's coming up.
Maybe you could come back next month with a proposal with some bylaws and
Yeah.
everything that everybody could,
Well,
Next meeting.
next
Again,
meeting. And
it's not like this board would have authority to spend money, right? It doesn't have that. It's just there to
Be proactive.
be proactive, work with the county health department. Kendall, do you have, I mean, you're saying work with them, but I'm asking the county to initiate this.
We talked about it, I
board.
think we can work on it,
Do
yeah.
you want me to come to the county with this presentation again and just look at the purposes and see over the next few months?
I don't know,
if we can get
Steve.
that agreement?
I don't know what we need, we got 4 here, I think we can talk about it.
We got 5 here.
5, who did I miss? Yeah, oh, 5, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I knew Maryland's there.
That's right, that's right. Well, can I get on your agenda and proceed to go to the county first, and then we would get a draft of the interlocal agreement out to all of the cities and towns? And please be thinking about who you think would be your best representative to be on this board, and then please send me emails. I've sent out my email to all of you in these slides, but send me emails for any ideas, and let's just work together over the next, 4 to 6 months, hopefully sooner. Government works slow, okay? But 4 to 6 months to see if we could get an agreement. Is that agreeable?
It's just like an advisory type.
Yes, it
board.
is.
So do we even need an interlocal, or just an agreement, a group of people to get together and get back information to our
Advisory board.
specific councils?
Yeah, we want whoever is appointed by their various cities and to have the standing within their city or town to be able to bring us
community advisory committee who has some strong interests in wanting,
They could be a part of it.
rather than
I just think
see
it's
something that's really terrible. Okay, that's awesome.
Well, let's decide that, and I can certainly bring this back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I can take a minute to, I didn't know all of this, but to help people understand a little better how to use this.
Can we put that to the end so these guys can leave, have to go?